This has been a long, drawn-out story for months now, and honestly, I don't blame you if you're sick of hearing about it, because quite frankly, I am too. The situation with Ben Simmons and the Philadelphia 76ers has been contentious, toxic, full of drama, and frustrating on so many levels, and there just isn't that much left to say about it that hasn't been said a million times already. But in this video, I wanted to touch on one final aspect of the entire situation that just happened that I see a lot of people misconstruing. This whole thing isn't just a one-time occurrence, it's not as simple as just moving on and trading him for whatever teams offer them, and it's not something that just came about after the Hawks series. No, this is a situation that has been brewing for years now, and yesterday, President of Basketball Operations of the Sixers, Daryl Morey, went on the radio and did an interview where he basically gave Ben Simmons his final ultimatum for the situation. Today, we'll be discussing all of the things that people gloss over that led to this point, we'll set the record straight on why both sides feel how they feel, and then we'll address what Morey said along with how Simmons should respond to it all. Before we start though, it turns out about 49% of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so please, if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I'd also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. So, to the average fan, this entire thing began when the 76ers faltered in the playoffs last year against the Atlanta Hawks and lost Game 7 on their home floor. Ben Simmons had the now infamous play where he passed up an open layup to dump the ball off to Matisse Thybulle, which is the one thing that everyone remembers from that game, and as a result, Simmons is the easy scapegoat for their shortcomings. Now, is it fair to place all of the blame on one player? No, of course it's not. Is Simmons blameless here? Also, no, of course not. Ben struggled at a historically bad level from the free throw line all series, he lacked any aggression going to the rim, and he shied away from big moments. He did do an excellent job defensively that series, and his playmaking set those up around him for plenty of easy buckets, but when you're a player in Ben's position, expected to be one of the leaders and go-to guys as an all-star on the team, more is needed from him. Of course, Joel Embiid wasn't perfect down the stretch of the game either with a few turnovers, Matisse Thybulle committed a really bad foul with a minute left in the game, and Tobias Harris missed plenty of easy layups around the rim throughout that game too, but Ben's shortcomings were larger than just that game or just that series. See, all of you know that Ben's been a controversial player long before this all started because there's always been plenty of debate over his jump shot or lack thereof. He's been a 3-time All-Star, a 2-time member of the All-Defense first team in the league, and he's the reigning runner-up in the Defensive Player of the Year race, and a genuinely impactful player on both ends of the court, backed up by countless advanced metrics. You could have easily looked at all of this and accepted the fact that he doesn't need to be shooting from the outside to be a great player, because of all of the other areas of the game he dominates in. But the biggest counter-argument to that was always that when the lights are brightest in the playoffs and teams start focusing in more on the defensive side of the ball with game plans, this shortcoming will get exposed, and that's exactly what happened in the playoffs against the Hawks. Simmons has historically been a great playoff performer in the team's first-round matchups throughout the years against easier opponents, but every time the team has advanced to the second round, he has seen his individual production plummet, and quite simply, it got to a point where this was too glaring to ignore. Simmons right now may feel as though he's being unfairly attacked, and as though the team doesn't have his back after a few comments made from Doc Rivers and Joel Embiid after that loss. But the fact of the matter is that the entire franchise backed him up so hard to the point that they catered to him every chance they got, and Ben was the one who refused to reciprocate this energy. For example, when Jimmy Butler was a member of the Sixers in 2019 and the team lost in heartbreaking fashion against the Toronto Raptors at the hands of that miraculous Kawhi Leonard series-winning shot, the team had a decision to make. Jimmy was a free agent that summer, and he wanted a long-term deal. The team opted to not give in to Butler's demands, and while this is all speculation, I've seen several reports state that one of the biggest reasons was that Simmons did not want to be pushed into a more off-ball role, which probably would have been the case if Jimmy was re-signed with the team. So, seeing as Ben was their at the time 23-year-old all-star and pillar of the franchise, they sided with him over 30-year-old Jimmy Butler and let Butler walk, despite Jimmy and Joel Embiid having a great friendship. Another instance of the team having Simmons back without him reciprocating it at all is back in 2019, 2 years ago again, when head coach Brett Brown said in a post-game interview that he wanted Ben Simmons shooting at least 1 3 per game moving forward in order to prioritize development in his game and hopefully improve over time. It came after a game against the Cavaliers where Ben had just made his second ever career three-pointer, so the hope was that he was turning a corner. What he did after, though, when Brett Brown said this, well, he did the opposite, refusing to shoot any more threes for the rest of the season. When discussing these kind of things, a pre-draft scouting report from Draft Express comes to mind, where popular draft scout Jonathan Givney said, and I quote, "Simmons' lack of competitiveness in crucial games has raised questions about his character. Those who know him best say he needs things to revolve around him on and off the court, and that he's often closed-minded to coaching or instruction. If that doesn't perfectly describe this whole situation, then I don't know what does." Simmons wants everything to happen with him at the center of attention and has countless times now refused to make the adjustments that the team has asked from him. He's so set in his ways that he has become oblivious to his shortcomings, and I think the result of the Hawks series was just the final straw, not at all the cause of all of this. The Sixers aren't the ones who put Ben in this situation, he did it to himself. The team always catered to his needs and were understanding with him. Doc Rivers all of last season said that Ben's playstyle was fine the way it is. Joel Embiid has embraced more of an outside game to fit Ben's needs as a player, and every big move has always been with Ben in mind. And yet when anything is asked of him in return, he's refused. Ben is not the victim here, and way too many people are acting like he is. Now, because of Simmons' antics, many people expect a trade to happen as soon as possible, just to get it over with and move on, but that's the opposite of what's going down here. Ben Simmons, his representation at Clutch Sports, and everyone else around him have tried everything in their power to strong-arm the Sixers into trading him away, but Daryl Morey is not having it. As I said in the beginning, Morey did a radio interview yesterday where he laid out the final ultimatum for Simmons. A few of the most notable quotes are as follows from him in that interview. "This is a very good player, and to give ourselves the best chance to win a title, you need difference makers. You don't need role players. Right now, any sort of trade, which obviously Ben Simmons wants, the best thing we can do is get role players back. That makes no sense. That will give us no better chance to win the title if we were to move Ben Simmons for role players. So, people should buckle in. This is going to go on for a long time, because my only job is to help us have the best chance to win the title. Ben Simmons is a difference maker, so if we can get him back, he will help us win a title. If we can trade Ben Simmons for a difference maker, we will do it. I think that's best for everyone in this situation. You guys think I'm kidding? I'm not. This could be a 4-year thing. Basically, Ben Simmons is not going anywhere until the right deal comes along. No matter how many temper tantrums in practice he throws, no matter how much he sulks, the organization is not going to be strong-armed into giving him away for pennies on the dollar. I think the reality of all of this is finally starting to settle in for Ben Simmons as well, because just this morning, Ben finally addressed the team for the first time, and even reportedly took some accountability. He's still not mentally ready to start playing again after all of this, but it is at the very least a start. As I've said from the very beginning of this process, Ben will need to redeem himself on the basketball court in order to get what he wants. He has to show everyone that he's still an all-star caliber player and play his way back into having trade value, because nobody is going to want him if he keeps this act up. If he actually wants to be traded, then he'll need to start acting like it, and sucking it up and proving yourself on the basketball court is the only real way for him to get what he actually wants. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about all of this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.